everyone, and thanks very much for coming back. So I am going to be doing another review today. Thank you so much for all of the lovely comments that I got on my very first ever comic book review, which was a Loki graphic novel, and that was by Marvel, of course. And this is another one that I am going to be doing, and this one is written by Donny, and it is Doctor Strange. And I thought I would do a review, and it's called God of Magic. And I really wanted to come on and talk about this because I read it last night, read it all at the once, and it really captivated me, I suppose would be the best way of going about it. I really thoroughly enjoyed this, and this was my first Donny Cates experience, and I don't know whether this is how he always is in terms of his writing style, but I thought it was very smartly laid out how he done the story and how he had me as a reader, and I was kept interested throughout this, and I actually thought the pacing was really good because I thought it was a very interesting concept how it started off at smack bang at the beginning, and then it actually seemed pretty fast actually, how it sort of climaxed to the ending, which is obviously a good thing, but it wasn't too fast, if that makes sense. Now, before I forget, and also another thing I thought with him was that he also added an emotional aspect to this as well with his writing. There was actually a dog in it called Bats, which was Doctor Strange's sort of like sidekick kind of deal, and I felt that it was cool how he cleverly laid this graphic novel out, God of Magic, but not only that, but how he did add an emotional sort of aspect, elements into this as well. Now, before I get straight into this, and before I forget, this was, of course, written by Donny Cates, as I say, and the artist was Gabriel Hernandez Walta, and the colour artist is Jordi Belair, and the lettering was done by, saying here, Faces Corey, and then it's the surname, I hope I pronounced right, Petit. It's Faces Corey, and then Petit. I hope I have priced that right. And the cover art was done by Mike Del Mundo, and I want to actually show you that because it's super cool, and it is, of course, Loki. And of course I knew, although this is Doctor Strange, of course I was well aware before I even ordered this from seeing the cover art at the front of this, that it was fairly obvious that Loki was going to be, you know, at least a good big part of this story in this graphic novel. And to be honest, Doctor Strange, I love their connection, Loki and Doctor Strange, within this story, but at the same time, Doctor Strange is in it the whole way throughout, but even at that, it felt to me like it was very much more of a Loki story, and very much of a, you know, he's wanting to be a better person, you know, and be better in his ways, and I like that side of Loki, you know, and I thought that was very interesting. Now, the art, to be honest, I will have to read more comics this year because I'm new to this, to be able to sort of be like, this art was this and this art was that, and I prefer this and I prefer that, but I'll get there, guys. This is a new experience and I'm enjoying it so far. I really love this one. Just before we get into talking about the art, and you can see Doctor Strange at the bottom, and I will take photos on the phone like I did the last time and put them up just in case it doesn't come out very well. I like the art, to be honest. I don't know if I like the art as much as what I did with this Loki graphic novel that was written by Daniel Kibblesmith that I done a review on. But I wanted to also show yous. But I must say, the writing, honestly, I think the writing by Donny Cates was spectacular. And I've heard Donny Cates' name a lot when people are talking about comics and stuff like that. So he must be like really like a big deal. And I love this at the back, which is both Doctor Strange and Loki. So I have no complaints in the fact that this very much felt to me like a Loki story, because Loki's my favourite villain in Marvel. Now, how this starts out is at the very beginning. It's very cleverly done. At the beginning, Loki has been handed the mantle, the title of Sorcerer Supreme. And I thought that was such a really cool concept. And basically, he has been given the title, and Doctor Strange, he goes and becomes a veterinarian, and he's working as a veterinarian. And as I said earlier, there's this little dog called Bats, and there's even a little joke thrown in there, which was funny, about Dr. Dolittle. So there is, a bit of sort of humour in there. I wouldn't say it's as funny as obviously the Loki graphic novel I talked about a week ago or a few days ago. Whenever I done that, it was very humorous, but the writing, as I say, was pretty phenomenal in this, to be honest. And there is a character in this at the very beginning called Zelda, and I'd never heard of her before. So this is what's cool for me about getting into comics, is because you always learn new things and learn about characters. Basically, Zelda is a librarian of Stephen Strange, and from what I gathered, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is she's like a new apprentice of his. And basically Loki, now that he has this new title, which will explain how he got that, because this was very, very much so as the story of telling us how exactly Loki got to become the mantle of take the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme. But Loki wanted to use his title. He basically uses his title to use a spell called the Exile of Xing Zun. And the Exile of Xing Zun is extremely, extremely dangerous. And not only is it extremely dangerous, it's extremely powerful. But also an issue for Doctor Strange is, Stephen Strange, is that Zelda, he bound that spell to her soul, basically. And, this is what's interesting about this, this is why I think it's such an interesting concept. Because, this is definitely definitely playing fields for Stephen Strange now that Loki has got the mantle. And literally, he takes the keys, his keys, he even has his cloak, he has his Eye of Agamotto. Don't know how Loki got a hold of that whenever Doctor Strange put me in charge of it, but sorry, Stephen, I mustn't have heard Loki coming in. But basically, he wants to go into, there's like a door that he's super fixated on, Loki, and he's like, I need to get into this room, and he can't get into it. So he goes to a character, I have this written down because I hope I've pronounced this right, Igor Caos, who is a magician, for help to be able to open this door. Now, I had never heard of this character before, but he's a magician. And that was interesting to learn as well. And he makes fun of him because, of course, he's taken over his title. So he has his whole attire, he has his cloak, everything. So he's joking around, making fun of Loki and poking fun at him and saying, he actually said, who are you even? Who are you even? So funny. We also have other interesting characters in here, guys. We also have Jane Foster. And I thought that was really cool to actually see, because I love Natalie Portman. So Jane Foster is in this also. And there is actually parts of this where you can see that there's bits of snow and things like that. So I find that interesting, and it looked as though there was lights on the houses, so it was like kind of sort of Christmassy time. And also what is super interesting was Doctor Strange actually went to the tree of Yggdrasil, and of course that is, we know from Norse mythology, is the tree of life, and he goes there and asks for help so that he can be able to defeat Loki. And he even says, I feel that much, he was given that much magic that I don't even feel like a sorcerer anymore, or I don't even feel like a mortal anymore. Sorry guys, I meant to say I don't even feel mortal anymore. So another super surprise was, I already knew who Sentry was before actually reading this, so I thought it was really cool. Sentry is actually in this, and I really loved this art. Hopefully you can see it okay. And then the tree and everything. So this really all sort of really worked well. And to be honest, that's probably one of my favourite pieces of art within this. Now, you kind of educate me below, because this is something I'm really interested to know. From knowing, the only thing I really would say I would know of Sentry is he not supposed to be like insanely powerful. Is he not, like, would he even be, guys, if you're a comic reader, please let me know, I'm really interested, would he possibly be in the top 3? Or is he the most powerful character in Marvel? You can let me know, because that's what I've sort of always heard of, that he's meant to be like insanely crazy powerful. So you can let me know. And he actually goes to him, he's also known as Robert, he actually goes to him, and he is in this graphic novel a lot, and he actually shows up again at the end. There's a battle and everything. Of course, Doctor Strange, Sentry, and Loki. Like, that's so cool. And as I said, you know, there is snow and stuff within this as well. I mean, I don't have an issue with the artwork or anything, but I'm just, as I said earlier, guys, I would need to probably read more comics to be able to sort of know, do you know what I mean? Like, what sort of art I would prefer, if that makes sense. But there was a picture that, I'm trying to find it actually, that I don't know why, but looked as though Loki looked like Winter Soldier. And I don't know whether it's just me being really silly, but you can let me know. It's not a bad thing, because I absolutely love Winter Soldier. Love him. He'd definitely be up there with my top favourites. What do you think? Is it just me at the top here? Or have I gone mad? That's what it is, I think. I think I've actually gone mad. I'm just looking down, guys, at my notes. I took a couple of notes down just so I don't forget anything. Oh, yes. And that is the thing. It explains in this, you know, how he got to take the mantle off Sorcerer Supreme. And basically, I found this super interesting. This is probably the most interesting part of it, which I'm excited to get to. There's a tournament that happens every few decades, and you're basically fighting for whoever gets the title of the Sorcerer Supreme. I was just trying to find the page that I wanted to show you guys. So basically, who gives the title of Sorcerer Supreme and says, right, okay, you're Sorcerer Supreme pretty much, is a trio called Vishanti, and this is Vishanti here. There's actually 3 of them. And from what I've gathered, I've been reading up and doing a lot of research because, you know, it didn't, you know, go into super detail or anything, you know, as to what they all do, basically. So it's a trio, and the tiger one is called Hoggoth. Basically, would appear as a sort of in a tiger form, because as you can see, it's in a tiger form. And basically, Hoggoth is an ancient entity, and they're all like deities, all 3 of them, from what I took from my research. You can let me know if I'm wrong. And the one in the middle is Agamotto, which I will get back to in a second. And this lady here is called Oshtur. I hope I've pronounced her name right. And she's an elder god. But Agamotto in the middle is actually her son. And I really love how the whole sort of, it's like scratchy, I don't do art like, but it's like scratchy sort of like pen sketching work. I mean, I'm not an artist, so I don't have a clue, but it looks really cool. And basically she trained her son, Agamotto. And when I was reading this, I'm like, I've never heard of the character Agamotto before. So gosh darn interesting it was. I didn't even have a clue. Agamotto actually was the first Sorcerer Supreme on Earth. And he basically defended it and its reality against Dormammu. And I don't know, guys, I just find that super interesting. And of course, I knew it had something to do with the Eye of Agamotto. He actually created both the Eye of Agamotto and the Orb of Agamotto. So to be honest, what I have taken away from this is Donny Cates seems to be a really good writer. If anybody else has any other ones that they would recommend, let me know, because he seems really good as a writer. And I mean, that's only me going from just reading this. And does he always smartly lay stuff? I mean, I'm sure most writers smartly lay stuff out, otherwise they wouldn't be writers. Duh, Julie. But you know what I mean? Like, is he really talented at how he smartly sort of captivates the reader and lays things out? Because that's kind of what I honestly took from this. And I'm just looking to see if there was anything else I wrote down that I want to talk about. Oh yes, Stephen explained that, you know, I won these freaking well tournaments. Like, I won the first 2 and I won the 3rd one. And he was like saying to Vishanti, but I won. I did everything. So like, pretty much like, what's the deal here? And they were explaining to him, well, we just wanted pretty much, we didn't want a mortal anymore to be having that role, and we wanted to give it to a god, and we've given it to Loki basically. So I found it so interesting, honestly. And then when you get to the end, and then also like they knew that he has had a troublesome past, but they also knew that he wanted to change. And that's what I love about this, was it was very much so about Loki, you know, sort of like still kind of wanting to sort of change kind of thing, you know, rather than him being, you know, a villain, or like a out and out villain. And that's what I found really, really interesting. But then at the end, Loki was like trying to say to Stephen, oh, by the way, you know, there was no tournament. It was all just an illusion and stuff. You know, pretty much because he's a trickster, right? He's a trickster god. And he was explaining, the reason why I tricked you, pretty much like saying, we've got the war of the realms, we've got the hell on earth damnation, the gathering of the Infinity Stones, the final host. And because you weren't strong enough to face them, Stephen, pity parties don't win wars and neither do rules. You needed to learn how to break every single one of them in order to save this realm. You have learned that. Now you're ready and you're welcome. And that's such like a Loki thing to say. And then Stephen's like telling him to shut up at the end and saying, you know, I just want my cloak back, you know, pretty much. And then Loki's like, oh yeah, that seems fair. That seems fair, dude. But yeah, this is volume 1, so I haven't read volume 2 yet, so don't be ruining it for me. I haven't it ordered or anything, but I would like to. If you've read volume 2, let me know, is it just as good as this, or is it even better? Because I'm kind of thinking, like, I don't know, because I've never read comics before, but I'm wondering, will Sentry actually be in volume 2, and is there more there's definitely most likely going to be more going on with Sentry, Loki, and Stephen Strange. That is my opinion. I definitely think that could be a possibility. I really love that picture of Stephen Strange and Sentry. But honestly, I was so impressed, super impressed by the writing. It blew me away, honestly. It did. It blew me away. And this is just some artwork I wanted to show you at the start of the story, when it sort of explains that he has the title of Sorcerer Supreme. So I thought the whole writing of it was a really cool concept. I got to learn about new characters. I got to learn about who Selma was. I got to learn who Vishanti was, the whole trio. I got to learn who Igor Cameos, you know, all I really learned was he was a magician. But I can do more research on him, definitely myself, for sure, because I like learning about, you know, characters that come up. And that's the thing with comics. And I get really excited when I learn new things. I'm the kind of person where I always love learning new things. And this is, you know, going to be a learning curve for me, guys. So please bear with me. I do still hope that you enjoyed this. The more I read, clearly the more better I'll get. I suppose it's kind of like anything. You know, if you're learning to play guitar, you don't learn bar chords first, you learn normal chords first, and then you learn bar chords, but you will eventually get to the bar chords. Does that make sense? Anyways, guys, I'm going to take my random self off and get ready to go to bed soon and watch The Simpsons, because it's getting late and I live in Ireland. But before that, I'm going to have to edit this video, and I cannot wait to get it up to see all your comments. And again, thank you so much for the support that you give me on my on the Loki graphic novel by Daniel Kibblesmith that I did for my first ever comic review. Honestly, I was beyond nervous. I didn't even know. When I turned the camera on, I'm like, should I even do this? Like, I don't know. I'm too nervous. And the whole time, honestly, it might not have looked like it, but I was literally beyond, like, I can't even explain how nervous I was. But see, when I sat down and I seen all the comments, it has given me so much confidence. So thank you so much for all the kind words of encouragement. And maybe I will look back at this and my Loki review in about a year's time and be like, oh my gosh, she's not even using the right, like, comic booky words. Like, what? So yes, bear with me, as I say, guys, and thanks so much again. And it would mean the world to me if you could share this video with your friends and maybe leave a comment on the way out if you have the chance. So thank you so much, and I will see you all soon. And yeah, Bye, guys.